Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us on this Sunday morning. I'm TW Starr.
This mission was not and has not been about regime change. The president authorized a precision operation to neutralize the threats to our national interests posed by the Iranian nuclear program and the collective self-defense of our troops and our ally Israel.
All new this morning, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth saying the U.S. attack on Iran was not about regime change. This conflict between the U.S. and Iran could be far from over. President Trump warned Iran that the U.S. could consider additional targets if the country does not agree to peace. ABC's Rachel Scott has the latest details from the White House.
In what could be the most consequential moment of his administration, President Trump overnight addressing the nation, claiming success after striking multiple Iranian nuclear sites.
Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated.
Flanked by Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, President Trump also sending a stark warning to Iran that if a peace deal is not reached soon, the U.S. could go even further.
There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill.
The White House releasing these photos of the president in the Situation Room along with Vance and other senior officials.
I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight.
U.S. officials confirming the military used B-2 bombers, dropping a number of 30,000-pound bunker buster bombs used for the first time in history. Tomahawk cruise missiles were also fired at other targets inside Iran from a U.S. Navy submarine. It comes as the U.S. has been surging their forces in the region for days. Sources say for weeks, the president had been pressed to join Israel's fight against Iran by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, because only the U.S. had the weapons capable of hitting Iran's underground facilities. A senior administration official telling ABC News the U.S. gave Israel a heads up before launching the strikes. The president also speaking to the prime minister afterwards.
I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel.
The decision to strike dividing lawmakers. Sources say Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader John Thune were briefed prior to the strike. After the president announced, Johnson writing online, President Trump has been consistent and clear that a nuclear-armed Iran will not be tolerated. This is America First policy in action. Democrats pushing back, with House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries saying President Trump failed to deliver on his promise to bring peace to the Middle East. Releasing a statement saying Donald Trump shoulders complete and total responsibility for any adverse consequences that flow from his unilateral military action. On the campaign trail, President Trump painting himself as the candidate of peace, and in his second inaugural address, promising to be a peacemaker and unifier.
We will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars that we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into.
Sources tell ABC News there was no formal Gang of Eight briefing for the top leaders in both the House and the Senate. Sources do say that Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, Senate Majority Leader John Thune were briefed before the military action happened. But on the other end of that, I am told that the Democratic leaders, Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, were only notified with very little details. And one source telling me that notification happened, they believed, when the attack was already underway. Rachel Scott, ABC News, the White House.